Morning, guys. Coffee scientist here. Every week I take a brand of coffee bean and I try them with 5 different brewing methods. This week we're doing Peace Coffee. This is their Birchwood breakfast blend, which has tasting notes of honey, chocolate, and cedar. This is supposed to be toasty and balanced. We're going to find out. Got my cold brew done yesterday morning. We are going to pull an espresso shot today, and it's going to be a good one. Our French press. This is a brand new mocha pot. I have used it, but for some reason last week, the coffee just never came out. But we're gonna try it again. And last but never least, our pour over. Now this week, I want to talk to something that's pretty important to me. There are a lot of people who say real men only drink black coffee. The very first coffee drink that I ever drank and liked was a Snickers mocha. It was delicious. Still go back for it every now and then. It is absolutely loaded with creamer, with sugar, and all that extra fun stuff. And that's how I got started on coffee. I was like 19 years old, I think. My dad was a black coffee guy, and my mom was a black coffee gal. They were really bad about food shaming, if I'm being honest. They would always judge people for their condiment choices on their burger. They would judge people for what type of salsas they use. Was it not spicy enough? Because we live in Texas and everything has to be spicy. And so they only ever made black coffee. Obviously, I thought it was gross. If you've never had coffee before, it tastes disgusting. I was lifeguarding at the time, I was a teenager, and the pool that we were working at was around the street from coffee shops. So my coworkers would go there, and they, also being teenagers, would get these super sugary drinks. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I've got a teenage kid, and he got into coffee this last year, partially because of how much I love it and how much I always talk about it. He would have never done that if all I ever gave him was black coffee. He gets this cookie dough flavored creamer. He puts a bunch of milk in it. I try to be nice about it, but I do tease him because the first time I ever bought a bottle of cookie dough creamer, bottle was supposed to be like 40 servings, and he used the entire thing in 4 drinks. So I do tease him some, but I don't ever want to be food shamey like my parents were. I want to make sure my son gets his nutrition, but I don't want him to feel embarrassed or ashamed of the things that he likes to eat. And it's hard to find that right balance sometimes, and I've probably messed up plenty of times. Coffee is meant to be enjoyed, and there should be no shame in how it is prepared or flavored. There's absolutely nothing wrong with liking very sweet coffee. I think the most common example we get in modern culture is the pumpkin spice latte. There's a lot of people out there who want people to be embarrassed about drinking that drink. Stereotypically, it's women. I think you'll find that if there's anything in this world that is mostly or exclusively enjoyed by women, men want them to be ashamed for it. I think a lot of the people who have over time made fun of these women for drinking their pumpkin spice lattes probably never tried it. I'm telling you now, the Starbucks pumpkin spice latte is freaking delicious. Anyone who wants to tell me otherwise needs more joy in their life. So how do we flavor our coffee? Essentially 3 different things that get added into coffee. One of them is fat content. Cow milk, oat milk, almond milk. Starbucks just tried to do their oleato, I think is what they called it. They tried to do olive oil. It did not go well, but it worked as a flavor additive because it has a high fat content. Fat bonds to the molecule in coffee that causes a bitter taste, and it neutralizes it. So if you want your coffee to be less bitter, anything with high fat content will work. Butter coffee is a more recent popular trend. 1 serving of butter, which is 100 calories, into a cup of black coffee, and it will drastically reduce the bitter flavor. The other additive that we see is going to be sugar. I personally am not a fan of sugary drinks, so I don't drink sodas. I don't really even drink like fruit juices because they're too sweet for me. When I do get something like a mocha, because I love chocolate, I'll ask that they use less chocolate powder or syrup, whatever they're using, to dial the flavor down a little bit, because I don't want it to be ultra decadent. That's not my personal taste. But that's what I started with as a teenager. And that's what I really needed to begin this journey. I needed something that was going to be accessible to a beginner. If you're the kind of person who's always said, no man, only drink black coffee, cut it out. What you're doing is you're causing people who may love coffee to never learn that, because very few people are really capable of starting with that. Hopefully my freaking mocha pot works this week. That being said, all of these different flavor additives, you can experiment a lot with them and find out what's right for you. Obviously, I like good black coffee, but every now and then I'll still go for something with a lot of cream in it. Because again, cream neutralizes bitter, but it doesn't really add sweetness or lots of flavor. It just kind of smooths it out. So I'll go for like a cold brew with a dollop of heavy cream in it. Heavy cream has a super high fat content, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of chocolate, and like I said, pumpkin spice latte is absolutely delicious. So you need to go try it if you haven't had it. Probably start my water. Plunge that. I know I said not to shame people for how they drink their coffee. The only reason I teased my kid for using that entire bottle of creamer in 4 servings was just caloric concern. He really loves his sugary drinks and beverages. It was alarming to see him consume probably something like 600 to 800 calories of sweetener in a single drink. If you really like your coffee to be that way, that's fine. It's not going to be very healthy for you. So just make sure you're keeping track of your diet and your other nutrients that you're taking in, because your health is important. The way you choose to get there, a little bit less so. Don't let people guilt you or shame you for liking the things that you like, but make sure you're taking care of yourself. You don't want to be drinking 2,000 calories a day and added cream and sugar just so you can get some caffeine. I don't really know why, but for some reason my pour over always turns out darker than my French press. I'm getting coffee grounds everywhere today. Can you believe I made a mess? Can't believe it. Are you gonna work today? We're gonna go ahead and pull our espresso shot. Maybe use a tiny dollop more, but I think it's fine. Oh, and I got coffee everywhere. Making a mess downtown. Grinding fast. I'm excited. I'm making some pretty good espresso lately. That's coming out just right. Just a refresher, we are looking for specifically those bittersweet chocolates. So I'm assuming it'll be more of the chocolate flavor and less of that sweetness that you would normally expect. Honey and cedar, which is a really interesting one. Ooh, that's really good. Honey comes out really strong on the French press. I think I'm getting the cedar. That's interesting. The bitter is like blending with the cedar, so it's hitting the back of my throat. Your bitter taste buds are all on the back of your throat. It is hitting those pretty hard, but it's got an overtone of that extra flavor on it. That's really good. I'm finishing that cup. Oh, that was too hot. Ow. Let's try the cold brew. That is so chocolatey. That is mellow. Wow. That's one of the better cold brews I've had. I've talked a lot about how I usually prefer really bright, acidic coffees. This is so smooth. It is not bright at all. It's so flavorful though. I have a lot of caffeine this morning. This really good Peace coffee. What the heck? Does this say? Bags don't say much. Man, that's good coffee. Pour over, don't let me down. A little too hot. I'm having a hard time getting anything from it. It came out a bit sour. I don't think I did the shot just right. Let me drink some water. No, that's just sour. That's not a good espresso shot. Honestly, I love it when the French press comes out good. It seems to be real finicky. I don't know why. Pour over's a bit tasteless by comparison. The chocolate and the honey are coming through. Gotta figure out how to be cleaner. There's so much coffee on that table. Really interesting results this week. The cedar comes out really strong on the cold brew, which doesn't sound like it should be good, but it's really good. The honey comes out and the cedar on the French press, and the pour over is mostly getting chocolate, but it's that bittersweet chocolate, so it's kind of dark. These all hit the back of the tongue with that bitter stronger than I would normally enjoy, but this is really good, except for that espresso shot, which was terrible. Peace coffee, I'm impressed. I bought these at Target, by the way. You wouldn't normally expect like really good, high quality fresh beans at Target, but I would definitely buy these again. Happy Father's Day, guys. I will see y'all next week.